The night stretched endlessly across the Starlight refueling station, a lonely outpost nestled between distant star systems. June Park stood guard, his body half illuminated by the soft blue glow of electronic monitors. Outside, the interstellar highway remained quiet, with only occasional dust clouds marking the path of distant vehicles. His cybernetic eye scanned the horizon, a subtle enhancement that most people wouldn't notice at first glance. Years of military service had taught June to be patient, to watch and to wait. The station was his responsibility, a small but critical point of support for travelers crossing the vast emptiness of space. The station itself was nothing special. A simple metal structure with fuel pumps, a small convenience store, and a handful of maintenance bays. Solar panels lined the roof, capturing energy from the nearby red dwarf star that cast a perpetual reddish-orange light across the landscape. June adjusted his standard-issue security jacket, feeling the weight of his sidearm and the hidden protective gear underneath. Most nights were uneventful, just him, the machines, and the endless starry sky. He didn't mind the solitude. After what he'd experienced during his military years, quiet was a welcome companion. A distant rumble caught his attention. At first, it was just a vibration, barely perceptible. But June knew better than to ignore even the smallest change. His cybernetic eye zoomed in, cutting through the darkness and dust. Motorcycle-like vehicles emerged from the horizon. They weren't human machines. Their design was too angular, too sharp. Alien riders, their bodies covered in metallic armor that reflected the starlight, approached the station with an intensity that made June's muscles tense. 5 vehicles, 7 riders. Each looked like a war machine more than a travel group. Their approach was deliberate, aggressive. June had seen such groups before, mercenaries, traders, sometimes just travelers looking for trouble. The station's automated systems began to track their approach. Fuel reserves checked, security protocols initialized. But June knew technology wasn't always enough. Sometimes human instinct made the real difference. As the vehicles drew closer, June could see more details. These were Krelltak riders, a species known for their aggressive nature and territorial behavior. Their exoskeletons gleamed like polished metal, each rider looking more intimidating than the last. The lead rider was massive, easily twice the size of a human, with sharp edges that looked more like weapon attachments than natural body parts. When they finally stopped at the fuel station, the entire structure seemed to vibrate with their presence. June remained calm, his breathing steady, one hand near his communication device, the other close to his weapon. He had been trained for moments exactly like this. The convenience store's automatic doors slid open. A young attendant, clearly nervous, looked out at the alien group. June knew the kid wasn't ready for what might come next. Some situations required more than just technology and protocols. The lead Krelltak rider dismounted, his movements fluid and predatory. Metal clinked against metal. Electronic systems hummed. The station's environment seemed to change, becoming charged with potential conflict. June stepped forward, blocking the path between the aliens and the station's staff. No words were needed. His posture spoke volumes, a guardian, ready to protect, waiting to see what would happen next. The night, which had been so quiet moments ago, now felt like a powder keg waiting for a single spark. Something was about to happen. And June Park was ready. The lead Krelltak rider stepped forward, his massive frame casting a long shadow across the station's polished floor. His voice was a low, grinding sound that seemed to vibrate through the metal walls. "We need supplies," he declared. Less a request and more a statement of absolute fact. June stood firm, his body language calm but alert. The young station attendant, a nervous kid named Day, watched from behind the counter, his hands shaking slightly as he gripped the inventory scanner. "This is a neutral refueling station," June responded, his voice steady. "You're welcome to purchase supplies according to standard galactic trade protocols." The Krelltak leader laughed, a sound like breaking metal. 2 of his companions moved closer, their armor creating a menacing metallic scrape against the floor. They weren't just here for supplies, they were looking for something more. Day accidentally dropped a container of energy drinks. The crash echoed through the station like a gunshot. The Kreltak riders turned simultaneously, their movement so precise it seemed choreographed. "Clumsy human," one of the smaller riders muttered, his translator device turning the words into a harsh electronic whisper. June saw the tension building. Years of military training had taught him to read situations before they exploded. These Kreltak weren't just passing through, they were testing boundaries. The lead rider approached the counter, deliberately standing too close to Day. His breath, if you could call it that, was a mix of chemical odors and something burning. "We take what we want," he said, reaching toward the inventory shelves. June stepped forward. "That's not how this works." The station's security systems began to pulse, a soft blue light indicating potential conflict. Automated warning protocols activated, creating a low hum that filled the background. "You think you can stop us?" The lead rider turned, his metallic body blocking the light. "Humans are weak, always running, always hiding." Day tried to speak, but no words came out. His hand slowly moved toward the emergency alarm button. The Kreltak noticed. One of the smaller riders moved with lightning speed, grabbing Day's wrist. The kid winced but didn't cry out. Something in his eyes showed a resilience that surprised even June. "No alarms," the rider hissed. June's cybernetic eye began calculating combat scenarios, distance, potential weapon locations, structural weaknesses. The Kreltak might be strong, but they didn't know what he was capable of. "Last chance," June said. "Follow station protocols or leave." The lead rider laughed again. This time, it wasn't just a sound. It was a challenge. 3 of the Kreltak moved simultaneously. Their intent was clear. They planned to overwhelm quickly, push through, take what they wanted. But they didn't know June Park. They didn't understand what a trained human could do. The first rider lunged. June didn't move backward. He moved forward. 1. Moment of perfect timing. One moment that would change everything. The station's cameras continued recording. The night outside remained calm. Inside, everything was about to change. June Park took a single step forward. The confrontation was just beginning. The first Kreltak rider moved with incredible speed, expecting to crush the human defender in a single motion. June didn't block. He redirected. His cybernetic eye calculated trajectory faster than any computer. Muscle memory from years of special operations training kicked in. When the alien's massive arm came down, June's body transformed into a weapon of precision. 1 twist, 1 precise movement. The Kreltak rider flew backward, crashing into a fuel pump. Electrical systems sparked. The pump erupted in a spectacular display of blue-white energy, creating chaos in the small station. Day watched in complete shock. The other Kreltak riders froze, their previous confidence suddenly replaced by confusion. June's movement was liquid metal. Each step calculated, each motion purposeful. His augmented body worked like a perfectly designed machine, part human, part technology, all determination. 2 more riders charged simultaneously. They believed in overwhelming force, quantity over quality, a strategy that had worked countless times across different star systems. But not today. June's left hand intercepted the first rider's attack. His right elbow struck with pinpoint accuracy at a specific nerve junction. The alien's exoskeleton, supposedly impenetrable, suddenly became a prison of its own rigid design. The second rider's attack came from the side. June dropped, a movement so quick it seemed like he had disappeared. The rider's momentum carried it forward, crashing into its companion. Metal crunched, bodies tangled. The station's security systems recorded everything, every movement, every strike. A masterclass in combat efficiency. The lead Kreltak rider roared, part anger, part disbelief. Humans weren't supposed to fight like this. Humans were supposed to be weak, predictable. June said nothing. Words were unnecessary. One of the fallen riders tried to activate a hidden weapon. June's cybernetic eye detected the movement milliseconds before it happened. His boot came down, precise and powerful, disabling the weapon's activation mechanism. Day remained frozen behind the counter. His hands gripped the edge, knuckles turning white. He had heard stories about human veterans. Augmented soldiers. But seeing it was different. The station's environment seemed to change. From a quiet refueling point to a battlefield in seconds. 3 Kreltak riders lay disabled. The others hesitated. Their entire strategy had collapsed in moments. June's breathing remained steady. No wasted movement, no unnecessary aggression, pure professional efficiency. The lead rider finally understood. This was no ordinary human. This was something else entirely. "Who are you?" the rider demanded, a hint of fear replacing previous arrogance. June simply raised an eyebrow. A slight, almost imperceptible smile crossed his face. Outside, the red dwarf star continued its silent watch. Dust clouds drifted across the interstellar highway. Inside the station, a moment of galactic history was being written. 1 human, multiple alien attackers, a scenario that would be discussed in military academies for years to come. The Kreltak had made a critical mistake. They had underestimated humanity, and now they would pay the price. June took 1 step forward. The remaining riders took 1 step back. The battle was over. The message was clear. Some guards were definitely not to be messed with. News traveled fast in the galactic communication networks. Within hours, the incident at the Starlight refueling station became more than just a local confrontation. It was a statement. Diplomatic channels buzzed with unexpected energy. The Kreltak Diplomatic Corps received the first transmission, unedited, security footage showing their elite riders completely neutralized by a single human guard. June Park became an unexpected symbol. His image, standing calm amid disabled alien attackers, spread across multiple communication networks. Some saw a hero, others saw a warning. The Kreltak leadership convened an emergency meeting. Their representative, a senior commander named Krell, watched the footage repeatedly. Each replay made the defeat more painful. "How?" Krell demanded, his translation device turning his growl into a mechanical whisper. "How could 1 human destroy our best combat riders?" Galactic news networks picked up the story. Viewers from hundreds of star systems watched the same footage. A human guard, multiple alien attackers, complete domination. At the Starlight station, June remained at his post. Cleanup crews had already removed the damaged equipment. Day, the young station attendant, looked at June with a mixture of respect and fear. "Are you okay?" June asked, his voice calm and professional. Day nodded, still processing what he had witnessed. Terran Space Command received the first official inquiry from Kreltak leadership. They requested explanation, compensation, some form of diplomatic resolution. The response was simple: security footage, nothing more. Krell demanded a full investigation. He wanted to understand how a single human could defeat multiple Kreltak combat riders so efficiently. Communication logs showed the Kreltak's growing frustration. Each diplomatic channel revealed their increasing desperation to understand what had happened. Military analysts began studying the footage. June's movements, his precise attacks, the way he used technology and human skill together. Some called it luck. Others recognized it as something more. The Kreltak wanted revenge. But revenge required understanding. And right now they understood very little. June continued his routine. Another shift, another night at the station. For him, nothing had fundamentally changed, but for the galaxy, everything was different. Small stations began upgrading their security. Training programs started examining June's combat techniques. His single encounter became a lesson in preparation and efficiency. Krell continued demanding answers. The Terran Space Command remained calm. Their message was clear. Don't start fights, you can't finish. Day started telling other station workers about what he had seen. A human guard, multiple alien attackers, complete victory. The story grew, transformed, became something more than just an incident. Warning to those who might underestimate humanity. June Park remained at his post, watching, waiting, ready. Another quiet night at the Starlight refueling station, but nothing would be the same again. The galaxy had learned a lesson. Humans were not to be taken lightly, and some guards were definitely not to be messed with. 2 weeks after the incident, a massive Kreltak diplomatic ship entered Terran space. Most expected conflict. Most anticipated war. Instead, something unexpected happened. Krell, the senior Krelltak commander, requested a direct meeting with June Park. Not through official channels, not with military representatives, just two individuals. The meeting location: the same Starlight refueling station. June stood outside watching the alien ship dock. Day remained inside, nervously monitoring security systems. The station's automated defenses were fully activated, ready for any potential threat. Krell emerged alone. No weapons, no additional guards. "You defeated our best combat riders," Krell said, his translator converting his growling language into clear words. June remained silent, waiting. "We want to understand," Krell continued. "Not fight. Understand." The alien's posture was different, not aggressive, curious, respectful. Krell explained that the footage of June's combat had spread across multiple alien civilizations. Some saw humiliation, others saw something more profound, a demonstration of strategic thinking and technological integration. "Humans are not weak," Krell stated. "We misunderstood." June simply nodded. No long speeches, no dramatic declarations. The Krelltak wanted something unexpected: knowledge. They requested information about human combat training, cybernetic enhancement techniques, strategic thinking protocols. An exchange of information, not a declaration of war. Day watched from inside, unable to believe what was happening. A potential intergalactic conflict resolved through a single conversation at a remote refueling station. Krell produced a data crystal, a gift, technological information about Krelltak defensive systems, a gesture of respect. "We learn," Krell said. "Humans teach." The galaxy watched. Communication networks buzzed with the unexpected diplomatic resolution. No shots fired. No additional conflicts, just understanding. June accepted the data crystal. Another day at work. The red dwarf star continued its silent watch over the interstellar highway. Dust clouds drifted. Spacecraft moved between star systems. Everything had changed, yet everything remained the same. A human guard, an alien commander. At a moment of unexpected peace, the Starlight refueling station, once just a small outpost, became a symbol of something more, a place where differences could be understood, where conflict could transform into communication. Krell's ship departed. June returned to his post. Day looked at his supervisor with newfound respect. Another quiet night across the endless stars. But the galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had proven something important. Strength wasn't just about fighting. It was about understanding, and some guards were definitely more than they appeared to be.